Then we have especially whenever we talk about digital evidences, we have an important terminology, chain of custody. So in legal terminology, we have a term change of custody, which is also known as paper trail or forensic link. It is it documents detail of each person who handled the evidence, its date, time it was collected or transferred, and what was the purpose of that transfer. Chain of custody is important because if evidence has been altered or it cannot be proven that it was not altered during the time between collection and use in court, then that evidence is less believable and its credibility also decreases. So the above picture show the methodology of digital evidence, and below one show typically we have a standard form whenever we do the digital forensic. We have to use a form and we have to mention all the details, where it was recovered, what we have done, to whom it was transferred. If you will not maintain this entire chain of custody, you will be at a weaker ground in case you will put your case in court of law. Like in case of, for example, hacking of a server, we cannot directly work on that server to collect the evidences. Firstly, we have to create its image. Then on its image, we can investigate to further collect the hacking evidences. You cannot tamper the original data which is there into server. You have to create its image. If we will directly work on a server hard disk, then obviously you are tampering the evidences and they will be less admissible in the legal code. So more information about the digital evidence will be covered in domain 7, I believe, which is security operation. We will have more detail over there. So many times you will hear this word, due care and due diligence. So what is this? It's very important to understand from information security perspective. Due care and due diligence are often confused. Some people think they are related, but they are different. Due care is mostly an informal process. Due diligence follow a process. We can think of due diligence as a step beyond due care. For example, expecting your staff to keep their system patched means you expect them to exercise due care. Here you are expecting due care. If you verify that your staff has patched their system, it is an example of due diligence. You will obviously get a question in exam on this topic. Like in the picture we can see, due care actions are taken, in due diligence continual action are performed. Especially in court of law, there is a regulation as per that country. If you can show them that you have followed due care as well as due diligence, then the penalty on you. If in case the court will see you haven't followed neither due care nor due diligence, the penalty will be harsh on you. So we have a word which is gross negligence, which is opposite to due care. It is a legally important concept. Like if you suffer loss of personal identifiable information, but you can demonstrate that you took due care to protect the PII or personal identifiable information, you are legally on a strong ground. If you cannot demonstrate due care or you were grossly negligent, you will be in much worse legal position. So obviously this gentleman is drinking and driving. If police wala will check him, he'll be in trouble because he is not following due care. Then we come to the intellectual property. So what is intellectual property? Intellectual property is a category of property that includes intangible creation of human intellect. There are many types of intellectual property and depend on the countries, some recognize them more and some recognize them less. The most well-known type of intellectual property or IP are copyrights, patent, trademark, and trade secret. So intellectual property is an umbrella term of set of intangible assets or assets that are not physical in nature. So I hope you are aware what is tangible and what is intangible. So just to give an example of this, tangible assets are physical. They can include cash, inventory, vehicle, equipment, building, as well as your investment. Intangible assets do not exist in physical form, and they can include things like account receivables, prepaid expenses, patents, and organization goodwill. So IP is typically an umbrella term in which there are a lot of different terminology involved. From especially from cyber law perspective or from information security perspective, we should aware about all these. We should aware what is copyright, patent, trademark, trade secret, and what is the difference between them. Also from exam perspective. So we have our trademark. So basically trademark are associated with mainly with marketing thing. It is a distinguished name, logo, symbol, or image represent the most commonly trademark item. On the left hand side, we can see most common trademark item. It could be Subway, McDonald's, Oreo, Canon, IBM logo, Cisco logo. So mainly, whenever we talk about trademark, we can see most of the time two symbols, especially in case of Indian trademark. One is TM. There will be a company name or some entity name. Then on top of right hand side, in a small words, they will write TM. Other one will be R with circle. So what is the difference between them? The TM can be used with any common law usage of mark. You can use it yourself also, but the R with circle will only be used by the owner of an organization who have registered their trademark in the appropriate trademark registration authority. Then only they can put R with circle. So it's important to know. Most of the time you will see sometimes see TM, sometimes see R. So most of the time people think what exactly is this? So in case of India, after independence in 1958, the Trade and Mark Act, its mark was created. It became Trademark Act in 1999 Again, it was updated. In case of trademark infringement, under section 103 and 104 of Trademark Act, we have option for imprisonment for a term not less than 6 months, which may extend up to 3 years, and a fine which is not less than 50,000, which may extend up to 2 lakhs as per Indian laws and regulations in case of trademark infringement. Then we have our patent under our IP or intellectual property right. So what exactly is patent? Patent provide a monopoly to the patent holder on the right to use, make, or sell an invention for the period of time in exchange for the patent holder making the invention public. So once the patent time period is over, the inventor has to make his or her invention public. It's mandatory. So once the duration of patent is over, invention formula will be made public. The length of that typically length for how long a patent will remain valid, it varies from different countries within the world, and also by type of invention which is patented. So it depends how long it will be patented. Generally, in both Europe and US, the patent term is 20 years from the initial filing date. In India, the Patent Act came into existence in 1970, along with the Patent Rules 1972. They updated again in 20th April of 1972. So if I talk about a brief history of Indian patent law, this is the brief history of Indian patent law. So in 1856, we have certain British patent law. Then it was modified in 1859. And recently it was modified again in 2005. As on the bottom screen, you can see on 1st January 2005. Lot of amendments come up within few years. Then we have our copyright. The purpose of copyright is to protect unauthorized duplication, distribution, or modification of a creative work. So copyright is typically related to the creative work. Copyright, like patent, have a specific term for which they are valid. Also, like patent, this term can vary based on the type of work as well as the country in which work is published. So again, it depends the type of work and the country in which it is published. Once the copyright term will expire, then the work has to become part of public domain. Like in case of patent, copyright also, once the time period will get over, it has to become part of public domain. Typically, softwares are covered by copyright laws. The moment you will use any software, then there will be a very long, very long terms and conditions that will have all details of copyright. Most of the time we don't read that, but there are a lot of terminology which they put from legal perspective to protect their interests. So this is a brief overview of copyright, patent, and trademark. I'll not go into nitty-gritty, but I hope you can see. So in case of copyright, mainly in most countries, the lifetime, the terms for protection is author life plus 70 more years. For example, I hope some of you are aware about Mickey Mouse, especially in case of Mickey Mouse cartoon character. They keep on increasing the copyright act for that. So typically you haven't seen someone use that Mickey and Mouse character in their film or some other, since it was protected by copyright laws. Let's move forward. We have trade secret, which is again intellectual property. You must be very well aware about trade secret. Trade secret is a proprietary information that is essential to the operation of business, which can include recipe, process, technical configuration, design, or practices. If the organization take active steps to maintain the confidentiality of the information may be protected for the lifetime. Unlike a patent, the consent of the trade secret is not to be disclosed, never ever, because entire business is working on the trade secret. In case of Coca-Cola or in case of Pepsi, they will never ever share their trade secret, what formula they use to make the drink. Similarly, we have case of KFC. It's their famous recipe, which is a combination of 11 herbs and spice. They kept that formula in bank vault. Only few people know, and the ingredients are mixed by two different companies at two different locations. Then they combined elsewhere in third separate location. So look at the thing, how much work they do to protect their trade secret, since this is their bread and butter and they don't want anyone to get the recipe.